Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So today's video, give me the beet. So I decided I was going to go ahead and get some beets planted into the no-till garden today. Now let me tell you how I did this. First, I broad forked the area. Got the soil good and soft. And the reason I did it was, one, I'm on clay, and two, it is a ground root. So the soil needs to be soft and pre-broken so you get a better growth. Second thing I did, guys, is I took some worm castings and rabbit manure and I poured it over the area where I was going to direct seed my beets. Now, I've got those two steps done. Got the seeds in the ground, got the ground ready. Here's the thing about beets. They come from originally the Mediterranean area. Now, the Mediterranean Sea has a little habit of sending something called boron and salt, sodium, into the soil in that area. So beets originated in soil that's got a decent amount of sodium and boron in it. So to help my beets grow a little better here in Southeast Louisiana in this red clay, I added very lightly about a tablespoon of borax over the area. Just kind of mixed it over, right? Sprinkled it across the area I'm growing my beets in. And the reason I did that was, why not mimic their natural environment so that I would get better growth? Beets take several days to germinate, so do not get discouraged. The second thing is, make sure to keep your soil good and moist. All right, during the entire time you're waiting for them to germinate, because if it dries out one time, your germination rate is going to drop. Now, in previous videos, I've talked to you guys about soil temperature and how that affects your germination rate. So beets don't really like the soil to be above 95 degrees. Now the cool thing is that I have a deep mulch system behind me, which means even though we're hitting 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 110 with the heat index, my soil is probably no greater than 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm within the optimal range for a good germination rate on my beets. Now, something you can do is go ahead and reseed every week to 2 weeks during your growth season. And the reason for this is you'll keep beets steadily coming out of the ground, guys. Now, if you're running a market garden like me, what I intend to do is when I sell my beets, I will sell them with the greens attached, right? Thinking, well, more bang reds. These are supposed to be extra sweet, and since I have a sweet tooth, well, okay, no teeth, but you know what I mean. Since I like sweet things, I decided I would go with this one. Now, this particular type of beets takes about 60 days to germinate. Now, the good thing is about 3 to 4 weeks after my beets have germinated, I can easily thin them. And what that means is I only want one beet every 3 to 4 inches. I don't want my beets squished in there together, mainly because the root is what I'm going to be harvesting, correct? So there needs to be adequate space so you get a bigger root. What I did was I came to the area that I had previously had tomatoes planted and still do have bell peppers and some beans and peas trellised along this area. Well, the great thing about beets are they're a pretty good companion plant for those types of plants. So I went ahead and intercropped my beets throughout my trellises. It's not going to hurt because as my other plants grow up, they're going to add a little bit of shade, which in the southeast of Louisiana, a little bit of shade goes a long way, right? So that's just kind of my thinking on where I put my beets. Now, talk about pest, right? And here where I live, pests are a big deal. In fact, I'm just going to venture to say they're a big deal everywhere in the world now. So what I'll be using to help deter pests are my always go-to foliar sprays. Rabbit urine, you heard me, rabbit urine. That's a twofold reason I use it. Rabbit urine is just tremendously high in nitrates, guys. And nitrates are a plant available nitrogen. So as soon as I spray my plant, it immediately can uptake it and use it. Now, the other reason I use rabbit urine is it is pungent, right? It smells terrible and it probably doesn't taste very good either. So I have used it pretty much for the past 2.5 years and I have no complaints. It never hurts my beneficials, and for some reason it flat runs off the pest. So you do what you need to do to keep your beets growing, right? I'll do what I need to do. I will tell you guys this. You can sprinkle cinnamon all along where you direct seeded. 1, it's going to help them germinate. 2, it is also a pest deterrent. So these are just some things that you can do that will help you be more productive and get a higher germination rate out of your beets. Because in the end, let's not beat around the bush. Y'all, I had to say it. Let's not beat around the bush. It's always about what we can get out of the soil, right? We're planting today, we're sowing today in the belief that we'll be reaping tomorrow. So we're planting our today looking towards our tomorrow. And that is how you have to do it if you're going to garden or farm or homestead and be successful. You have got to keep one eye always on the future and one eye on your current day. Actually, it kind of make you feel a little cross-eyed. This is what my area looks like where I put my beet seeds. Now, some reasons, guys, that you really do want to plant beets. These are very easy to juice. Believe it or not, you can juice these guys all day. And the juicer, the ones that I've tried that have been juiced have been just, they're really good. They really are. Like, the flavor is pretty darn And it's good. A great way to make juices for your family that are not fake juices. Because if you didn't see the video already, I highly recommend you go watch the video. They've been lying to you your whole life. So stop buying juices in the store. Start planting these easy to grow root crops for you and your kids and your family, and start making your own juices. I mean, let's take back control of our food, right? And this is one way that you can do it. Beet juice is actually really, really good. You don't need the sugars. You can actually sweeten it with a little bit of honey. And guys, and look, I'm gonna warn you about honey, right? My dad has gotten into bees, pawpaw, sammy, and alleybuck. One of the things I just recently realized is that by law, they can add 10%, might even be 20%, he told me, of other to the organic unfiltered honey. So what do I mean by that? They literally can add fillers, sugars, anything that they want. So the honey you're buying in the store may only be 80 to 90% actual honey, and then a bunch of junk and chemicals you flat don't want, but it's still listed as organic. Now, why? I don't know, but you know, great labeling, FDA. They have the most insane labeling system ever, but I diverse. So let's go back to beet juice. So you can make beet juice out of it. Something else that I've had, now I personally do not like beets, but something I've had that I fell in love with was pickled beets. Sweet pickled beets with onions and garlic. Y'all, it was amazing. It really was. I mean, like, it was probably one of the best canned off the wall things that I've seen that people have done with extra vegetables. The next thing would be, you can actually, and I've done this, make a root tonic out of it, right? So I do a turnip, beet, garlic, onion, ginger tonic. That's one of them. I do several during the fall and winter to help with colds and muscle aches and issues with your joints. If you've not checked out our playlist on tonics, tinctures, and teas, you can see some of the cool things that my dad and I do with roots during the fall and winter. Because here's the thing, as winter comes on, even your oak trees, everything, they pull their energy down into their roots to survive the cold, which is why they pretty much stop growing leaves and they stop getting bigger. They conserve their energy in their roots. So it's a great idea to have roots, plants, root vegetables growing during the winter, because all the plant's energy is going down into that. And it's just chock-a-block full of vitamins, minerals, and micronutrients that you really need to feel better through the winter. So that is why I encourage you now, start planting your beets. Plant them every week, 2 weeks, get them in the ground. Easy crop. Even if you don't like them, they can become another source of revenue on your home, your farmstead, your farm, or your homestead. God bless you. Thank you so much for watching Starkey Farmstead for rowing in my boat, letting me row in yours. Please like, comment, and subscribe, guys. The more you like and comment and share our videos and hit the notification bell, the more people find us. And we really want our message to get out to the world. You can do this debt-free, even on small acreage. You can take back control of your food, your family's food, and what you're feeding your livestock. You can do so many things on only 2 acres. And if you have less land than that, you just kind of minimize what we're doing here. You make it a little smaller, but you can still do it. And if we can do this on 2 acres, you could take what we're doing here and grow it bigger for 20 acres, 200 acres, 2,000. So God bless you. Get out there, guys. Get something in that soil.
I am the bulbous root, the reddish purple beetroot. I grow under the ground as a color and I'm renowned. I make all your dishes colorful and bright, but don't think I'm a turnip when you see me in white.